Welcome to the coffee talk with salty Vixen's flair. Dive into deep thoughts, no topics to air.
Welcome to Salty Vixen's Coffee Talk, a place where I talk about what is on a Salty Vixen's mind. I'm an author, I'm a musician, and a mother, and I am the founder of Salty Vixen brand. Today's episode is all about my virtual experience dating this past weekend. That's right, my friends. Dating has become a regular comedy show. I feel like I'm on a long-running episode of Sex and the City where I'm both Carrie Bradshaw and Samantha Jones. You know, Samantha Jones, when she will say things such as, that's dickalicious. Oh, yes, I can tell you about my giving a blowjob, And I am Samantha Jones in a sense, at least my character, my Salty Vixen character. Now, those tuning in, Salty Vixen, I am an author. And if you go to my website, saltyvixenstories.com, I have a section called Bedtime Stories with Salty Vixen and Daily Audio Stories. Yes, right. I write them every single day, Monday through Friday. And the reason why I do them, well, part of it is because of depression. You see, if you don't keep yourself busy, you get depressed. And what I'm talking about, the kind of depression is the kind where you don't have intimacy. You don't have human connection. You see, I'm a full-time single mother of 2 teenagers. I get up in the morning, get them breakfast, lunch, take them to school, bring them home, and I'm working. That's all I do. I don't socialize like a normal human being. Why? I can't afford it. Now, when I was married, I could afford to do these nice things. I get my hair done when I wanted to. I get my nails done. It was great. But then I got divorced, and well, my ex-husband, he was abusive. And on top of that, while I was getting divorced, I was in a sexting relationship. Yes, I can't live that down. I can't let it go. Sorry, dude, if you ever hear this. It's something that had bothered me because he hurt me on the deepest level. I always say that because it's true. I'm a changed woman because of him. As you know, when you go to my Bedtime Stories with Salty Vixen section, these are just fantasy characters I created. I call them the trauma characters. So I create these fantasy characters from the trauma I've gone through. I have Dear First Dom, Dear My Doctor by Alpha Male My Dom Sir. And they're just fantasy characters, not about anyone, but I created these wonderful characters for writing. Every author does that. Every artist does that. Look at Taylor Swift. I mean, she makes billions of dollars on her breakups. Lucky. I wish I could make billions of dollars on my stories. But anyways, so here I am running a small publishing company and working my ass off. And but meeting people I don't get to. It's sad. So I go on Bumble. I go on Facebook. I would love to get on Raya, but I can't because it's so exclusive. And I've been on waiting list for 3 years, so yay. And there's some other apps. I've tried matchmakers. Again, it's the problem is where I live, because I live outside of Metro Atlanta, and people just don't want to drive. And you're going, what? Oh, no, I've gotten that. And the other problem is on dates I've been on over the years, it's, wow, I like you. We have a great connection, but it's not going to work out. Why? Well, because I live here and I have a house here, and I can't afford where you're living at. It's an expensive area. I said, okay, but what happens if we get along? I mean, and we decided to get married one day. Someone's going to have to sell a house. But yeah, but you got kids, and I don't. And I said, okay, so you move out here. It's not that much of a difference driving to your work. In fact, your job's closer to where I live. I mean, it's just bullshit. So you want to know what happened this past weekend while it's on my mind? Full disclaimer. Everybody I talk about on my show, I give them nicknames. It's just, well, it helps with dealing with situations, and it gives me a little bit of humor. All right, so first up, the policeman. Yes, he is a cop. Good-looking fellow, 6 foot tall, has a great personality, sort of. I looked him up. Okay, nothing bad about him. He has 1 kid. And we were chatting for about 24 hours, and he lived near me. I'm like, oh my gosh, good points, right? We have not talked about dating yet, but we're just chatting. And his profile should have been red flag to me. What does profile say, you wonder? Well, it said this. Women out there, stop writing on your profile you don't want to do hookups. If you don't want to do them, don't do them. Second of all, stop saying you don't have time to date, and stop saying that your kids come first. This is a policeman, by the way, that's telling women this. And I hate to tell you that, but dude out there, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you have kids, kids are always going to come first. If they didn't come first, well, that's bad parenting. So, but I thought, well, maybe he's being humor on his, and this was on Bumble, by the way, the dating app. And we chatted for a minute, exchanged phone numbers. And it was a good conversation. It was dead. There was no chemistry whatsoever. And I let it go because here's the thing with me. I believe in friends first. Get to know somebody. Let the flirting happen as you go with the flow. But unfortunately, people rush so much that when you go on a first date, you want to have that spark right away. That spark thing is bullshit. I'm sorry. When you say you want that spark right away, that tells a woman we're just options because it takes a while to get to know somebody and you're not going to put the time and effort. And you know what? When you tell me about the whole spark bullshit, goodbye. We're done. All right. So the policeman and I were just chatting for about 24 hours, right? He tells me that a woman can have the same things he like, concerts and watching movies, spending time together. But the deal breaker for him was, ready, women out there? They have to drive a Harley Davidson. Now, I love Harleys. I love the motorcycle. My dad rode them. They're really cool. I have a fear of them because my sister, let me ride on one when I was probably like 9 years old and I fell off and I have a fear. And I told him about that. And he said, well, that's a deal breaker. He said, even if you don't try, it doesn't matter if you have a fear. You have to try. And I said, sometimes you can't get over a fear. He said, well, then that's a deal breaker. And that's why I blocked him because it was never going to go anywhere. Next up, the paramedic. Good looking fellow. Once again, we exchanged phone numbers, we chat. And then he said to me last night, I look for the spark. And you're going, wait, Salty, you already talked about that with the doctor in the last podcast. You're right. That's the second time someone's mentioned the spark to me. And he, his profile stated that he's looking for a relationship. But when I asked him, well, what kind of relationship are you looking for? How do you define it? Because you need to know right away so you're not wasting your time. He said to me, well, it's not that I'm looking for a relationship. Right now, I'm just looking for to see if compatibility happens. Just to date around before I settle down again. But your profile says relationship. Yeah, because that's what I want. What you want a relationship, but you're telling me right now you are dating around till you find someone. Well, yeah, that's called an option. Women don't like that. When a woman generally chats with a man, we're chatting with at least one. We stay with you until the ick factor kicks in. And y'all know the ick factor, just finding something wrong. And sometimes you can let it go, but sometimes the red flags kicks in so much, you're like, goodbye, arrivederci, I'm done. Sayonara. Adios. Au revoir. And unfortunately, in dating apps, the ick factor is a very common term to say. Again, read subreddit, look at the Reddit stories on there. It's hilarious about some of the things that people have talked about. These men have said right away to women. And it's just gross. Like, why are you on dating app if you have no intention of meeting people and getting to know them? And I've been saying that for years. What's the point in going to dating app if you have no intention of dating? But a lot of men will lie on their profile saying, we're looking for a relationship because women have stated, I don't do hookups. So it's gotten to the point where men have this scam, so to speak. It's not really a scam, but it's a scam. By saying, yes, I'm looking for a relationship. I'm looking for a long term when they're looking for a hookup because women don't want hookups anymore. And you shouldn't be pressured into that. But yeah, anyways, the paramedic was saying, I'm looking for a spark. And that's when I brought up the whole bullshit thing. Tell me, what is the whole spark thing? How do you define a spark? He couldn't even respond to me. So I ghosted him. I waited about 4 hours and I ghosted. And also looked at his app. He was on a date. It's fine. His prerogative. We haven't met yet. But the whole spark thing, reason why I call it bullshit, because the way I define spark is, do you have the attraction with that person? You're finding common interests. That's a spark to me, but apparently that's not a spark to these men. I shit you not. When I had that date with a doctor 3 weeks ago, the body language was there. There was definite attraction on both ends. He even wanted a second date. But the next day he says, well, I had fun, but you know what? There was just no spark. Sorry. And that told me right then and there, holy shitballs, you had no intention of going another date. And then I analyzed it and processed it. And I realized when he walked into the restaurant, I get there first. I always do. His body language told me right then and there that he was quick. He was looking around. He wasn't looking at me. He had no intention of enjoying that date. But he did. And he enjoyed it. In fact, I remember he said in 2.5 hours into the date, he said, did not look at the phone the entire time. I actually had fun. I didn't expect this to go as far as it did. Remember that key phrase I said. I did not expect this date to go as far as it did. He said that. And I remember thinking, my gut was telling me, yeah, there's no second date. And I knew that. Because he came in there hoping for a nice big meal and hoping for a hookup. Even though they say they don't. First off, he wasn't that good looking. Second of all, he was shocked how much I knew about the medical world. I mean, hello, I dated a doctor, so to speak. I know a lot. I educated myself very quickly on as something that he taught me many years ago. Work hard. Second of all, I'm no dummy. My IQ, I always tell people it's 150. Do you want to know the exact number my IQ is? 161. I do dumb it down on dates a little bit to say 150 when I'm with an intellectual person, because when they find out the woman's smarter than them, they want to bail. It's so fucking odd. So I want to know, why is it so hard to find love and find a relationship? It should not be. Is it because dating world, us women are options? And then people wonder why it's so easy for me to write, my spicy audio stories. Because I created fantasy characters, what I would want in a relationship if I was in one. And that sexy relationship, although, yes, I moved on from it, it hurt me deeply. Not because of definitely because of what he did. I think about the person I knew prior to that. The only person that was there for me that because I existed with him. No one else back in that day, I existed. He taught me how to march. He got me standing ovation for award for most improved marcher. Yeah, that's a most pathetic award, but embarrassing award. He stopped bullies from making fun of me. He worked, I remember there was a marching band routine and the bass drums kept hitting me and he kept saying, it's not Salty Vixen's fault. It's our fault and we're fixing it. And they did. They fixed it. Because they're complaining with me. What he didn't know, the next day, some of those drummers were carrying my books to class because they're afraid of his wrath. That was the best day of my life, actually. First time people were nice to me. But the point is, I did not have that in my life. Even when I was married, my now ex-husband was not supportive of anything I did. I mean, even in the marriage, I was independent. It really wasn't a marriage. I get 2 beautiful kids out of that, and I love my children. They're perfect in every way. But as a single mother, yes, I miss the compatibility. I miss finding that person. Does that person even exist? What am I looking for? I start questioning that. And that's the other thing in dating apps. These men are looking for someone similar to their exes, but you got divorced. And if you can't find a person similar to your ex on these dating apps, that's on you, buddy. I don't want someone like my ex-husband. Hell no. I want someone where I have compatibility, someone that can stimulate me intellectually, and many other ways, of course, to bring the salty vixen out of me. The only one person who's been able to do that, and that was Sexting Gate. It's the first time I got to be happy in a long time. And it sucks that he lied to all of us. Yes, I have my ups and downs, especially when my depression kicks in like it had been over the weekend. And I want someone to replace that. I want to get those emotions out. Because the feelings about him, I said, not today, not the Sexting Gate. I'm talking about way back when. Stay. I don't want to stay, but they do. All right, my lovelies, I'm going to end this podcast by saying, I hope you have a lovely day. Until next time, this is Salty Vixen. Goodbye.
Come and share with me. So let's chat about the highs, let's chat about the lows. In this cozy little corner, anything goes. Every sip tells a story, every word brings a smile. With every conversation, we'll go that extra mile.